Hey everybody. So here's what we're going to do today. You're going to create your first whole class mosaic. Have you seen this before? This is the Starry Night piece here. So basically, this is split up into all these different quadrants. Okay, so each of you are going to have a section. It's not really a quadrant because there's way more than 4 of them, but each of these sections. So someone will have worksheet A1, worksheet A2, and so on. And then as we put them all together and lay them out like this, it will turn into a whole class big 35 by 24 inch mosaic of the whole thing. So this is our focus as far as like colors and things like that. Some of them aren't going to be exactly perfect, but you want to be really careful as we do this so that it turns out really cool looking. All right, I'm going to guide you through a little bit of this process. One thing I want you to be aware of is at least at your partner pair tables, you want to have one of these slips. We're going to be trying to match these the best you can. We have this box of colored pencils that we're going to use. I don't want you to pull out your own. We want to all be using the same colored pencils so that it all matches. So just use the class pack. You'll notice on this paper there is blue, sky blue, yellow, black, violet exists in this class pack, orange, brown, but gold and yellow doesn't exist, so we're just going to use yellow. Yellow, orange doesn't exist, so we're going to use orange. Aqua green doesn't exist, so we're just going to use sky blue again, and so on. So take a look at what it says underneath. That's what you're going to use when you don't see that particular color in the box. Okay, so there's all the colors listed on the side. That's what it look like inside. Please don't take a whole bunch of colors. Just take what you need one at a time. Use it or whatever. When you're done, if you could put it back in the same direction with all the pointies on one side and things like that, that would be great. If you ever have to color white, don't color white. Okay, just leave it blank. All right, so that's that. Let's go ahead and talk about the worksheet. So for this one, you're going to have your own individual paper. But I do want you to be sitting with a partner. If something isn't working right, like talk through them with it, make sure you have the right answers. Your teacher will have the answer key to double check things for you if you're stuck. But otherwise, you can see all the solutions are down below. Okay, so what you can see that I'm doing is I'm working out the problem. Okay, just like we've done in Class and Learn by drawing my separator here, doing everything I need to do. Once I found my answer, like for my worksheet D8, x equals 6. So I went down here, I'm like, oh sweet, there's the 6 and there's the symbol. And so what I did was I just drew the symbol next to it. So I know, okay, for every symbol like that, I'm gonna color it brown. And just to save paper, I just put it on the back. So don't use a really dark thing here. Maybe use pencil so you can erase and fix if you need. That way it doesn't shine through onto this side, because this is what everyone will see. Okay, and so then every time I see that little sum symbol there, I'll know that I'm coloring it all those brown. Okay, so I'm just trying to create my plan here. So I do want to walk you through these 4 just as a review of all this. So let me zoom in a little bit and walk you through the process to just refreshen some of the tricky ones anyway. So I'm going to start by drawing my line. So you can just look, you're not following along, just watch for a second and try to focus on what I'm talking about here. I know I'm doing sad merg, make her happy to solve for x. So I'm going to do backwards germ DOS, so minus 26 to both sides. And then I'm going to use my calculator to make sure that I'm not making any mistakes here. So a negative 33 and a negative 26 is 33 plus 26, but it's negative, so we're at 59. You could use your iPad calculator or whatever. I'm going to cross that out. And now I have this x over 4. So always focus on what you see. So I see x divided by 4. How do I get rid of that? Well, I multiply by 4 to both sides. Multiplication goes on the sides. Okay. Those cancel out, 4 divided by 4, and we're left with x equals whatever 59 times 4 is, and it's negative 236, because negative times a positive, and there's my answer right there. So I'm going to check that off, and I'm going to write that little O symbol with the line through it. Okay, let's take a look at this one. Right away, I see this, and I know that first thing I'm going to do is distribute this because I can't do anything in parentheses anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and distribute the 7. So that's 7 times x, which is negative 7x. Negative 7 times a negative 6 is 42, so positive 42. Or you could KFC that, you'd still get the same thing. Equals 56. I'm keeping my rows organized. All right, now think about what to do next. See if you know. So I have a plus 42. I'm going to subtract 42 on both sides. Okay, and I'm left with, after I cross that out, negative 7x equals 56 minus 42 is 14. Okay. All right, now I have to get rid of the times negative 7, so divided by negative 7 to both sides. 14 divided by 7, I already know is 2, but it's negative 2 equals x. Let's see if it's down here. So here's something you may run into, which would be unfortunate. Number 8, I got x equals negative 2. I re-looked at it, I definitely feel like x equals negative 2, but I can't find it down here. So I'm hoping it's a mistake down here. It turns out it is. So what I would do if you would run into something like this is just go ahead and finish out the other squares. I'm not going to be able to put a symbol here yet. I'm just going to go ahead and continue on. So let's look at number 9. Look at what you have again. So I have an x times a 2/3. How would I get rid of that? I would divide by 2/3. But remember, we don't divide fractions. What do? Say it if you know. You multiply by the good reciprocal. So I'm going to multiply by 3/2. Multiply by 3/2. I always take the whole number and make it a fraction. Go ahead and draw your workspace line there. This all cancels out, and I'm left with x equals whatever that is. Okay, so I can definitely cross simplify this. Cut them both in half. So I have a 1 here and I have a 24 here. So 24 times 3. I'm going to go ahead and do it on my calculator here. 24 times 3. And we have 72. Okay. Looking down below, I can see 72 is right there. And so I'm going to go ahead and draw that little, I think that's an omega symbol or something like that. And then my last one, and this one, I want you to get a good reminder of what happens with these. So this top part, when you have multiple things in the numerator, remember these are like invisible parentheses. So that means if you're doing SADMERG, you would have to do this last. Don't try to subtract 280 from this. You have to address this part first before the parentheses on top. Okay, so we have a divided by negative 20. So how do I get rid of that? I'm going to multiply by negative 20 to both sides. Okay, this cancels out, which will get rid of my parentheses now. So I'm going to go ahead and draw my line here. And now I'm left with my just plain x plus 280 equals whatever the negative 23 times negative 20 equals, which is negative times a negative, which is 460. Okay, now we can go ahead and do this because our parentheses are gone. So I'm going to subtract 280 from both sides. And I'm left with x equals 460 minus 280 gets me 180. Okay, and I can see that is down here. So there we go. So that one's good too. Okay, so what I would do then is I would just check with your teacher and be like, hey, all my other ones are here, like this one's not, -2, I've checked it, like can you look at the answer key? And then when you look at the answer key, it actually does say that it's supposed to be -2, which means this is an error. So don't make those error changes without checking with the teacher, but then you can go, oh, okay, those are supposed to be the hearts. So once you have all your symbols listed and your work done, I want you to take a picture of this and submit it to the assignment as proof that you completed that sheet today. And then what you'll do is you'll go ahead and look at this little slip here and just do one at a time. So you're going to look for all your little E symbols, the sum symbol there, and you're going to go, okay, I'm doing brown. Yeah, it's just flat out brown. So I'm going to do all those symbols brown, flip it over, go get your brown colored pencil. There's my brown. Don't grab all the other pencils, just grab the brown. okay? And you're gonna search those and just be really careful, okay? Maybe outline the edge of it first, okay? And then go ahead and shade it in. Okay, you wanna be as neat as possible so that it turns out really cool. Okay, and it's actually, once they're not so sharp, it's actually a little bit better. So you're gonna go through and do all of that color, obviously, and basically fill up your mosaic with the colors that it says on here according to your symbols, okay? Before you go to do this, I would recommend going over to the teacher and say, hey, can you just double check my answers here to make sure I'm good? Because the last thing you want to do is accidentally color this wrong because we don't have extras laying around. Okay, so be really careful, get that checked before you submit the assignment and start coloring here. And then the rest of the time, just go ahead and get that all colored. Your D8 mosaic, what we want to do is get this cut out really carefully, but you're gonna have to label that this was D8. So in the middle of the box on this side somewhere, make sure you label that it's D8, okay? So that when it's cut out, we can see what it is, okay? If you cut this out and forget to mark D8 on the back, we're not gonna know where this goes, okay? And then what we'll start to do is we'll put D8 where it goes, which is in the bottom right corner, and everyone will start building theirs around it, maybe over on the octagon table on the side of the room. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. Take your time. This is all about practice with your two-step equations. So really, really try to follow those rules. Help each other out with that. Okay.